Today we are talking about your wedding series. Oh my goodness, we are planning your wedding starting at age 14 years old. Now I realize that most people don't get married at 14 years old, nor do they think about planning their wedding at 14 years old. But it's important to do so. Okay, so we're taking it all the way back to the beginning. This is an exciting time in your life. And so it's important for you to know or at least have some tips and tricks on what you could do to start planning now. Now, we are fast forwarding the series up into the age where you get engaged, and that's different for everybody. Not everybody gets married at the exact same day or the same age in their life. So, even though we're starting at age 14, we are fast forwarding to the age that you are going to be getting proposed to. Okay. And so, yeah. So, your wedding series is about planning your wedding and telling your love story, okay? And it's through a slew of wedding events. That's what the series is all about, starting with the proposal, engagement party, engagement photo shoot, the bridesmaid's proposal, the groomsman's proposal, the dress shopping or gown shopping, like I like to call it. I love ball gowns so much. Then you have the bachelorette party, bachelor party, hen do party, depending on what country that you're in, rehearsal dinner, rehearsal, wedding ceremony, wedding reception. And of course, before that, we have the get ready with me the morning of the wedding. Now, not everyone's going to have all of these events in their wedding series. You may have some extras like the welcome party or the after party, and even other things like the morning after with parents and things like that for brunch if you have like an elopement or something somewhere in a different space like a cruise or an island or something. There's lots of events when it comes to weddings. But why am I here? Well, as your content creator, I provide affordable wedding videography. Yes, and this videography is going to help you to remain hands free at your wedding and all of your wedding series of events. Most people, when they go to an event, they've got their cell phone right in their hand. And that's because we are living a content creator life, you guys. Everybody thinks that they're a photographer, a videographer. People think that they can live stream everything. And so, if you want to be able to see your guest faces looking at you at your events rather than them staring at their phone and putting a lens in your face, it's good to hire me. It's good to hire me as your content creator. I am your personal paparazzi, and I will have my cell phone lens at my hands. Okay. We are going to now get ready with lights, camera, action. Let's start this show, you guys. Let's start this show. I am here to give you some really amazing advice that's going to help your love story unfold. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, you guys. So we're jumping right in. This is episode 4. Let's get over to our notes. This is going to be episode 4, and this is part 2 of episode 4. This is talking about living with your parents after you've already finished college or after you finished high school, okay? Depending on where, what you decide to do when it comes to your education. This is going to be the bride's perspective. We will have the next episode 5 will be about the groom's perspective and some tricks and things and tips for him to be planning while he is in that stage of his life. Okay, so this is talking about living with your parents. I know, not the most exciting thing. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to live with their parents. So basically, after school is over, instead of moving out, you'd stay home. And I had some really great tips in part 1 of this. So in episode 1, I should say, because we have different parts, this is actually, we're considering episode 2, okay? And we're going to jump into episode 2, part 3, okay? So if you're taking notes, this is episode 2 of Living with Your Parents, and this is part 3 of your outline. Let me look at my notes. Part 3, preparing for the wedding. Remember, when you're preparing for the wedding, we already talked about who is paying for the ceremony and the reception. But now we're going to talk about some interesting ways on how you can start preparing for the wedding as the bride. Okay. So, this is going to be different things that you're going to be paying for. That's not the ceremony and it's not the reception. Bullet point one: create a savings goal for your dream wedding. This is a rough draft. Cost could change. So, we are talking about creating a rough draft of cost. Now, things could definitely change. All right. We talked about who is going to be paying for the wedding reception and the ceremony. And so, we want to be talking about cost for that specific day. You want to create like an outline, a rough draft. Now, how are you going to do that when you just barely graduated college, you just barely graduated high school, you haven't gotten engaged? This is all preparing for the wedding before the proposal. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Now, the way you're going to do that is start researching. Go online, look up what it is to have a wedding at different places, different venues. If you wanted to do a house wedding, a wedding in the park, see if you need to get a license for to have something from public, the public people, the government. And then you want to also consider venues. There are lots and lots of wedding venues out there with different costs. So you're going to have to start calling around because most people aren't going to have any of their prices on their website, which makes it extremely difficult in this process. Now, I know that most people wait until they actually get engaged, they get a wedding planner, they pay them a slew amount of money. Now, you can do that. I'm not saying that you can't. But if you want to start pricing things now, even wedding planners, you can start pricing that. You don't obviously need to book one because you haven't gotten engaged. So you're just going to be contacting these people and getting an idea, getting a ballpark figure, okay, of what they offer and how much it is. This reason why you're doing this is because it's going to give you a chance to see, okay, things are expensive. What exactly do I want? What do I like? What don't I like? And it's important to do that because, guys, let's just be honest. This is the most hardest part of planning a wedding is the cost, trying to figure out a budget. So if you can knock this out before you even get proposed to, of having like that idea of what it's like to plan a wedding and to purchase all of these things, oh my goodness, we have people who are DIY brides, budget brides. They've decided, nope, all this stuff is too expensive. I don't want an all inclusive venue. I just want to do it all myself. We're going to have our wedding in the backyard at our parents' house and our grandparents' house. Maybe their grandparents have like a garden back there or a gazebo. I've seen some pretty gorgeous backyard weddings. So keep it in mind. Keep it in mind, you guys. Don't think that you have to wait until you are proposed to in order to start budgeting for your wedding. Let's look at bullet point number 2. And this is still part of part 3. Learn about wedding cost and prioritize what's important. So the reason why we are looking at wedding cost and trying to prioritize what's important is because maybe you don't want flowers. Flowers are extremely high cost, okay? People were very surprised by that. I do not know why flowers have to be so expensive when they die within 3 days, especially since you're going away on your honeymoon, right? Let's think about this. You're going away on your honeymoon. Are you even going to be able to take care of those flowers? No, you're not. All those flowers that you bought. And then you've got people that come from out of town. Do you think they want to get on an airplane with like bouquets of flowers? No. Then you've got people who just don't want to take care of flowers. Like they're not good at it. They're like, there's no point spend $5,000 for flowers, right? So maybe you decide to have less flowers, or maybe you decide to have faux flowers, which are still really, really nice. They have some faux flowers that are really, really pretty. You got to be careful. Some of them are extremely expensive. Make sure that you can see them before you buy like a ton of them. So if you are going to buy them online, just buy like a little bit, get your free shipping, and then buy some more once you've seen like what they look like and stuff. I know there's some people are buying them where like they're pressed in the beginning when you get them, and then when you take them out the package, they're supposed to like unfold and be bigger. Well, there's some people that are saying that like it didn't even come out, like it didn't unfold. So you're stuck with these flat flowers, and who knows, you don't want to spend money on something that like you can't even use, right? So I know that I'm not much of a flower person. I do like flowers, but very minimally. So I am the type of person that likes to DIY a lot of stuff. I like candles a lot more than I like flowers. And so I like decor pieces over flowers, whereas there are some people who just really, really love flowers. But you have to think about it. You're leaving for your honeymoon. You're going to be gone for 7 days. Who's going to take care of all those flowers while you're gone? And a lot of times, like your parents or family, they're not much of, flower people. I'm not saying that all of them are not, but most of the time you have a difficult time trying to get people to take the flowers home. So even if people flew in, or sometimes people just don't want to take care of flowers because they're like, oh, they're going to die in 3 to 7 days. I don't really care to take care of them. And so, no, don't give me any flowers. I always take flowers from weddings. I am so excited whenever people want to give me flowers from weddings. I think that they're the most precious gift that I can receive after leaving a wedding, because like I am so sad that the wedding's over because I love weddings so much. And so like to have the flowers in my home, it's a great reminder of that wedding. And I love to take care of flowers. So they last a little bit of time, more than just a week at my place, which is really, really great. Also, I like doing DIY, like decorating with flowers that are dead. So I spray paint them and do all kinds of stuff, put them in like books and all kinds of things. So yeah, I made this really cool Beauty and the Beast like display with real roses that are now dead, but like it looks so cool with like the glitter on top of them just when the light hits them at night with the candlelight. So beautiful. Let's keep going, you guys. So in our next bullet point, we are talking about still part 3, preparing for the wedding and costs. So this is going to be learning event management, research venues, vendors, and wedding trends. So at this point of your planning, remember, you are not proposed to yet. These things that we're talking about today are before you get proposed to. This is before you even know that you have someone that's going to propose to you at all, okay? This is after college, you're living with your parents. That's what this episode is about. You did not move out, okay? Go back and watch the other episodes if you want to learn more about like why you don't move out of your parents' house, why you just stay there until you get married. Remember, these are just my ideas. You don't have to take them. It's just my ideas that are going to help you to have a stronger marriage and a stronger life if you do your best to follow into this. I am going to stop and have a sip of tea. Ooh, that is really, really good. Okay, so remember that you're going to be learning about wedding trends, learning about wedding venues, and learning about what you like and what you don't like when it comes to weddings during this portion. Building a personal style. This is still under part 3. Curate inspiration from your wedding, from themes to dresses. Okay. So this is a fun part. I know that usually people wait until they're engaged and then they do all of these things that I'm talking about today, right? But you can start just getting some ideas, looking at themes, looking at dresses, looking at what the groomsmen wear and stuff like that. Just get an idea. You're not going, you obviously things could change down the road. And I'm not telling you to go out and like buy one of those huge binders and plan your entire wedding like right now. But you are just getting some ideas of what you like and what you don't like. Okay. Now, even though I said don't get a binder, it is good to start journaling. It's okay to start journaling. You can even start doing some stuff like on your computer with different boards, take out different boards and things like that in order to get like things down and, out of your head. And that way you're not just like holding on to all of these ideas. The next bullet point is going to be building a personal style. Curate inspiration for your wedding from the themes to the dresses. So, this is where you're going to start, like we said, building your style. The next part is start journaling. We talked about both of those. The next bullet point is growing a support system, building strong relationships with family and friends who might play a role in your wedding or even in your life. So I know that a lot of times people are focused on me when they get out of college. I got to find a job. I've got to do this. Remember, this is the bride's perspective right now. Bride's perspective. We're going to do the groomsman's perspective in the next episode. It'll be episode labeled 5 of your wedding series. But right now we're talking about the bride. And so this is the time in your life where you, since you're living at home with your parents, yes, you may have separate from them. You're going to start building a relationship with them even stronger than you had before because you want them to be a part of your wedding series and your wedding day. These are people that you may also want in your wedding. So it's going to be important to keep them close. Okay. Keep them close. Oh my gosh, this next one is so great. You want to start fostering connections with married women who share their wisdoms. This is such a good one. I have definitely been on the wisdom sharing side of things as of recently because I've been married for 6 years. And I have had some friends who have asked me some things about like weddings and stuff like that. So it's just been really, really cool. And even my younger niece, she is only 14, but she's been asking me a lot about marriage. So even though she's not in the stage of getting married, she is thinking about like planning for marriage, planning for being a wife, planning for just being an adult. She's thinking about right now. She's not waiting around until after college. So I think that that's amazing. Now, this is the time in your life that if you're after college or you haven't been proposed to yet, you want to be taking the time out to surround yourself with married women. Not everybody needs to be married, okay? Not everybody that you hang around with needs to be married, but try to find you some married friends, okay? That can instill some wisdom into you about married life. Everyone thinks about the wedding and how much of a fairy tale that they want, or some people don't even want a fairy tale, so they think about how badly they don't want that, right? But you have to realize that there's more to a wedding than just the wedding day. There is the marriage, and that's going to be a lot longer than that one wedding day. Okay. I wish that more people were taking the time out to watch these videos that I'm creating and to watch other sources of great information for you that's going to help you in the marriage as well, not just the wedding day. Now, we are going to be doing a lot of the wedding series events, engagement, proposal, wedding shower, all that good stuff. We're going to be talking about all of it, but we're starting for the things from the beginning, things before we even get to the proposal. Before he proposes, we're starting there with our wedding series, okay? So that you can have the help and the tools that you're going to need to guide you. And you can ask questions too. Ask lots of questions. I am here for it. That's why I'm here, is because I want you to ask questions. It's not just me giving all this information and not trying to build a relationship with you. I want a relationship with you. So make sure that you are asking me questions along the way. And my email is out there. So you can send me an email if you want. If you're too nervous, to just come out and just ask, send an email and we will talk that way. Part 4, practicing motherhood and helpmate roles, learning about children. Volunteer with children's programs or babysit to gain experience. For those of you who've already been watching my series, you know that we've talked about this a lot. Becoming a helpmate, watching your parents and how they parent, watching people at your church and how they parent, joining a, like a, what do you call 'em? A ministry at your church that has like the children's and the babies nursery ministries, and maybe you get to volunteer your time in there once a month, or once a week if that's what you want to do. But I don't want you to miss out on church sermons. I don't want you to miss out on those. But yeah, so take the time out to do that and to babysit your siblings as well, so that you can start getting a feel of what motherhood is like learning the different cries of the baby and things like that, as well as being a helpmate around the house, picking up, the chores, doing more of your chores that you see your mom doing, trying to do more of her chores along with your chores. Remember, at this point, you are an adult. We're not talking about 14-year-old you anymore. We're talking about you after high school or you after college. You haven't moved on. You're not going to move out yet. And you're going to stay at home and be honing in on these skills until you get proposed to. You don't have to do it this way, but just know that if you do, it's going to make you stronger in your marriage and in your adult life. So we talked about helping at home. We also are talking about taking on responsibilities like meal planning, budgeting, and household chores. So we did talk about household chores, but also your father might be doing a lot of the budgeting, the financial books and things like that, the accounting books. Your mom may be doing that as well. I know that I help my husband and we kind of like tag team all that because it can be a lot. But be trying to like help them to budget those things, like ask like, well, what can I do to help in the budgeting process of that, each and every month, so that you start getting a feel of that. This is the bride's perspective. Remember, we're talking about the bride. For the groom, you're going to have some different things when it comes to helping around the house and things like that, and we did talk about that in our other episodes, so make sure you go back and watch that. And we'll be talking a little bit more about it in episode 5 as well. We'll be deep diving more into those things. Now, let's say that your mom usually like grocery shops on a specific day. Instead of her going every single time, maybe you could be the one to do the entire family grocery shop, for the family that day, rather than leaving it for your mom to do while you're staying at home. And like I said, you're an adult now. Like, you want to start doing a lot of these things anyway, not just for marriage, not just for your wedding, but just also for being an adult. Okay, let's keep going. I want to also remind you guys to be a reliable helper. Be someone that's reliable. Don't be, finicky. If you told your parents that you were going to do said things like do the laundry that day or take the laundry out and fold it, please just do it. Don't sit around and wait to be, told again or asked again, even though you had already volunteered to be a helpmate around the house, so that you are getting into good practice on keeping a schedule. Okay. You guys, I hope that this has been helpful for you. I know that this isn't the most easiest topic to talk about, living at home with your parents. That is like really, really hard. And especially once you get to the age of adulthood, it's scary to think like, okay, your content creator is literally saying like, don't move out. Like, you probably don't hear that type of advice these days of just stay home, right? Don't move out, stay home, wait until you're going to get married. You can save a lot of money. You can have accountability. That means like you don't need to be doing things you're not supposed to be doing. And you're not supposed to be playing house with anybody until you are actually married. Then you're actually just living, okay? You're not playing anything. You're not playing pretend. It's like actually your life, okay? So don't mess around with your life, and don't, take it for granted. Don't think that like the things that you're doing before you're married don't count into your marriage, because the things that you do beforehand are going to become the baggage that you bring into that marriage once you're married. So bring in less baggage by just staying at home with parents, learning how to deal with conflict. I know it's going to be hard. They have different personalities than us. They're not the same as us, right? Parents are not the same as children. Children are not the same as parents. And you're going to learn even more of that once you become a parent. Most of the times in our life, we're just around people who are our age, right? And so this is a time in our life where now we need to start being around children, people that are younger than us, and start getting to understand their development. We want to be around people who've been married for a while and who are exuding, things and role modeling, their life in a way that's like suitable. You know what I mean? Like not the people who are gone astray, but people who are really trying to get this thing right. Okay. So you want to be, looking at them as your role models when it comes to your marriage and for, your wedding and things like that, and just life wisdom itself. I know that wedding planning is a lot, but if we start younger, if we start at age 14, can you imagine all the things that we've talked about so far in these first few episodes of how different your life would be and as a whole if we like put these into actual practice? All right, you guys, we have spent enough time on this one. Next time, join me on episode 5, where we are going to be talking about the groom's perspective for all of this. So it's going to be a little bit different than what we talked about today. Today was more of the bride side, and we are going to talk about the groom side. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.
Lights, camera, action, baby, strike a pose. Phones and cameras out, just watch it all unfold. We're the stars of the show, ain't no need for filters. Living life through the lens, capturing our thrills. Put away your phones and cameras, let the good times roll. Our content creators got it all under control. From weddings to events, parties, travel and brands, we're living the paparazzi life. It's all in our hands.
Lights, camera, action, we're ready to go. We're professionals, don't you already know? From TikTok to Instagram.